Welcome to Outdrive, folks. I'm your host, Cliff Callis, and each week I'm bringing you actionable marketing insights you can apply to reach, connect with, and convert rural American consumers. Outdrive is powered by Callis, a full-service advertising agency with a focus on marketing rural America. Callis offers a wide range of integrated marketing services, including website development, search engine marketing, social media, video, and digital. We develop strategic and creative campaigns to build your brand and your business, and you can learn more about us at ecallis.com. Now join me in the front seat as we head out on the road to success. Let's go. Hey folks, welcome to Outdrive. We've got another great story to share with you today about life and work in rural America. I'm excited to introduce our guest, Josie Gregory, an account executive at Callis, our advertising agency. Josie has a great story to share. Growing up in a small town in southwest Missouri, attending Drury University in Springfield, and pursuing her passion for design and marketing. After college, she moved to Kansas City, where she worked in real estate marketing. Last December, Josie got married, moved out of the city, and joined the Callis team in March. In this episode, we'll dive into Josie's background, exploring what life was like for her growing up and the journey that brought her here. She'll talk about the lessons she's learned and what drives her passion. We'll discuss how her education taught her to see things from different perspectives and how that has helped her succeed in marketing. We'll also talk about her years in real estate marketing and how those experiences shaped her as well. Finally, we'll explore her transition into a leadership role at Callis, where she's using her skills and insights to help clients in rural America. Welcome to Outdrive, Josie.
Thanks for having me, Cliff.
I'm excited to have you on. You're one of our newer personnel at Callis, and I think it's exciting for people to get to know you and know who you are and to hear your perspective on what it is that we do at Callis. I know you grew up in rural Missouri, but you've lived in the city and you've got some great marketing experience for our agency and for our clients. And so I want to share that with our audience, and I want to get your perspective on what it's like to work in a small agency in central Missouri. I think we have a lot to talk about, but before we go down any of those roads, let's start by having you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up in Lamar, Missouri, and that's where I graduated high school from. I went to school in Drury University in Springfield for 4 years and had a really great experience there. And after that, I moved to Kansas City and did real estate marketing for almost 5 years. And then this last December, I got married and we moved to Sedalia. So I started here at Callis in March, and that's kind of the short version of my journey.
So, growing up in Lamar, what was life like for you as a kid?
Yeah, so the population of Lamar is about 4,000. So it was kind of that stereotypical picture perfect small town childhood. I grew up on Maple Street, and all the neighbors on the whole street were our family and friends. Both sets of my grandparents lived on the street, and my best friend and her family. So the moms would just kind of post up at the ends of the street, and all the kids would be outside playing and riding bikes. And we just always had so much fun. And I have the absolute best parents ever and two little brothers. And we just had a really awesome, loving family and got to have a lot of adventures and experiences. So I had a really blessed childhood.
Sounds like it. I think when you hear the word Maple Street, your mind just goes to this idyllic little scene where, for me growing up, that was sort of like Mayberry in the Andy Griffith show. You know, it's kind of that kind of look. But you went to Drury to study graphic design. Was that a career path that you sort of always envisioned yourself going down, or how did that come about?
That's kind of a funny story. So no, I was not super artsy as a young kid. I would say I was more of a math kid. Math was my favorite subject for a really long time, and I always, excelled more in math class. But then in high school, my best friend and I wanted to make sure we had every single class together. And so she was trying to get me to sign up for an art class sophomore year, and I thought she was crazy. I was like, why would we do that? But I went ahead and went for it, and it ended up being my favorite class. and really, really enjoyed art and started getting better at it. And then my junior year, I had an opportunity to join the graphic design program in the technical center. And so I did that and started kind of getting into some competitions across the state and did well at those and really started enjoying it and decided that that really was a good career path for me. And so I found Drury and went on a tour there and met with some professors. And really, just out of all the other schools that I visited, I could tell that they really cared about me there and would really personally invest in me and make sure that I was, seeing my full potential and was going to be prepared to be in the real world. So.
And so this graphic design interest and passion, is that what took you to Kansas City and, a job in real estate marketing?
Yeah, it was. So, really, my favorite thing about jury was that I learned a lot of critical thinking skills and kind of how to expand my way of thinking. So, I did learn a lot about the design aspect, but there was so many other classes beyond just my major that I really just felt like I had a well-rounded education. And so really how it ended up in Kansas City was I was visiting and I really wasn't looking for a job yet. I hadn't graduated yet, but I met this real estate agent and we were just kind of talking about design and marketing and everything. And she wanted to open up a brokerage in Kansas City, a luxury real estate brokerage. And she needed some support in kind of transferring the branding and everything and the design work and the social media and other marketing aspects. And so after we talked for a while, we just kind of decided that maybe it was a good fit. So I thought about it for a few weeks and it seemed like it would be a really awesome adventure to live in Kansas City. And so I decided to kind of take a leap of faith. And it really was just such an awesome adventure. And I learned more than I ever thought I could in that role. So,
Well, I thought when you came to us, you were very well prepared for what we do. And of course, we haven't really talked about your position and your role and responsibilities at Callis yet, but you're not a graphic designer here. You're an account executive, but obviously that training prepared you for this role. But talk about the specific role that you had in marketing in Kansas City, because I know when we talked really in your interviews, it was interesting because you dealt with so many different types of audiences and so many different types of people. So talk about that a little bit.
yeah, for sure. I wore a lot of different hats. It kind of started out more as social media and design, and then just over the years it built. So, one of the hats I wore was I did marketing on the brokerage level. So, that was kind of more about brand awareness and lead generation. So, I did website content, social media. We did a lot of event planning and email marketing, really just with the overall goal of taking this brand, this luxury brand that originated in Germany, and putting kind of that Kansas City spin on it so that the community could feel a connection to the brand. So that was one hat I wore. Another one was that I helped our agents with their individual marketing needs. So we had about 20, 25 agents, give or take. And so that involved a lot of technology training and brand training and kind of coordinating their marketing materials and helping them with their contacts and their sphere of influence. And then another thing we were really involved in is we had several new home communities that we marketed. So we worked with a lot of builders and developers. So sometimes a community would already kind of have their branding. And so we would come in and make a marketing plan with website updates, event planning, email marketing, social media, quality checks with their technology and listing. And then sometimes the developers wanted us to come in and develop from kind of start from scratch. And so we would start with the community name and the logo and create some signage ideas and a website. So, really, with that, it was just about the relationship with the builders and developers and showing them that they could trust us and becoming the experts and becoming the first person that they thought about when someone mentioned marketing. And then so with that we got really involved with the Kansas City Home Builders Association. Specifically, we got to play a role in starting the Professional Women in Building Council in the association, and so we were the voice of women in residential construction. So that was really, really fun. It was a lot of networking and relationship building. It was just such a variety of different roles in the industry that made up that group. And then in 2023, I got to join the leadership team as the co chair of the Education and Events Committee. So I got to research and coordinate speakers and activities. So overall, there was really just never a dull day in my job. There was always a lot going on. My to-do list was never empty, but it was just so fulfilling to get to dive into all of that and learn about all that. And I was just really surrounded by the best people, the best real estate agents in Kansas City, and just got to really learn a lot.
Sounds like a great job
Yeah, it was. It was hard to leave, but yes.
and a great opportunity to kind of start something from the ground up and help develop it. And of course, here at the agency, we've been involved in a lot of community development for the past 35 years. And it's fun to create something new, create a new neighborhood, the branding that goes along with it, the messaging that goes along with it. So, there again, I think, all the different things that you described in your job there are all the different things that we do for our client. And so that's why we thought you were very well rounded coming into this role. So, what were some of your takeaways from that experience in real estate marketing in Kansas City?
First of all, I learned a ton about real estate in general and just the fluctuating markets and how dramatically the market can change and what affects it and kind of everything it takes to buy and sell homes in those different markets and kind of learning different marketing approaches to take in that. And because of all the different hats that I wore, I learned real estate just from so many different perspectives, which just kind of like I talked about learning critical thinking at jury, getting to see real estate from that perspective and think about it in different ways. So, really, my main takeaway is that it's all about relationship building. Selling a home isn't just a one and done situation. Leads don't always just pour through the door every day. It's really about staying connected in creative ways.
That's what we're all about too here, relationships. And, early on with our agency, we did a lot of project work. I didn't really know that, long-term sustainable relationships were as important as they are because we'd do a project, we'd be done, we move to the next project, we'd be done. And the sustainability of an agency is having clients that you help grow over time because as their business grows, their needs grow, their budget grows, and so do we. And so that's been how we've been able to grow organically over the years. Well, you've been on board now at Callis for a few months. What do you like about it?
I really love just everyone that I work with, and the culture here is really great. I feel like I'm really surrounded by so many talented people and talented in so many different ways.
Describe the role of an account executive because you really are kind of central to everything. So you get to work with everybody to help clients develop their marketing program. Talk about the role of an AE.
To put it really plainly, I would say that they're a problem solver. I would say that involves good communication, strategy, research, writing, editing, directing design projects, public relations. Kind of like my last job, just wearing a lot of hats and being able to think creatively.
And of course, you're sort of the liaison between the client and the agency. So I always think about how important listening is in that process to ask good questions to the clients to help ascertain their needs and wants, and then listening really well to be able to understand those and convey that then to the rest of the team that's going to be working on it.
Absolutely.
What do you think clients are looking for in a good account executive?
I think someone who's organized and delivers on promises and just kind of helping them look like a rock star and making their job easier and not harder, bringing them really good ideas and knowing their industry really well. To me, it's not about clocking in and clocking out. Your clients should be just kind of a part of your thinking process, and you should always kind of have that in the back of your mind when you're out and about, just anything you see that could give you inspiration for a good idea.
I think that's a great perspective because you're right. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You might get an idea. Heck, it could come in the middle of the night. You hope it doesn't, but if it does to me, I might forget about it. But yeah, and it's not like you're thinking about them all the time, but it's kind of like, the whole creative process of, filling your head up with ideas, giving those ideas time to think about, and then coming up with the big idea and then letting it develop to see if it really is good and then how you're going to break it up into all the different pieces. So, but having them as a part of your mindset, I think is an important way to look at it. I think that's a great perspective.
Absolutely.
So, in general, what's your perspective on marketing? What's it all about?
Yeah, I would say to me, marketing is about people and it's about understanding what your audience wants and needs and feels and trying to tap into their human experience because people make decisions based on what they feel, whether they realize it or not. And to stay ahead of the game, you really have to be able to anticipate those desires and their pain points. So you want your brand to be about the customer and not always about you. And it's not just about getting them to buy from you, it's about making your brand part of their lifestyle. So it really just has so much to do with earning their trust by meeting expectations and providing value and connecting with people on a deeper level and make them feel understood. And that will make them advocate for your brand.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective. Well, you mentioned the talented people that we have in our agency, and I would throw you right into that mix, by the way. Any surprises coming to work, for a small advertising agency in a small market?
Yeah, I think coming from Kansas City, I knew that I would find a good job, but I didn't expect to find a job necessarily that I felt quite as passionate about. So I think that that was the biggest surprise is, downsizing in the population of a town, but everyone has just as much passion about being the best that they can be and making a difference and the professionalism. And I just felt like I fit in very quickly. And it just really was more than I could have dreamed of when I started looking for a job here. So,
Well, that's very flattering because, we as business owners try to create an environment that people want to come to work, an environment that's challenging, yet one where you're recognized for the hard work and the good work that you do and that you are appreciated. And I hope you're seeing all those things. We try to invest a lot in helping our associates develop personally and professionally because that's very important. We want employees that feel good about what they do and good about themselves, and ones that have the interest to want to keep learning, because that's one of the things that we've seen over the years is, marketing just changes every day. And right now it's technology that's just driving a lot of that change, new opportunities for different strategies and tactics that we can use. And if we stop learning, we're going to get left behind. We can't afford to get left behind. So we invest in our associates to keep helping them learn and develop as well. I think maybe it might be interesting if you would talk just a minute about the training program that we've had you through from day one to today.
yeah, for sure. So, it's kind of a 90-day training program, onboarding program. So, I started out learning about clients and kind of getting to brainstorm some strategy and ideas. And then I started getting brought on to projects and managing some accounts and helping out with some planning and budgets. And so now I'm transitioning to more account management and taking the lead role and diving more into strategy. And so then a few months ago, I got to go to the Agency Management Institute's account executive training in Denver. And so that was really great for a few days, just learning the ins and outs of being an account executive and getting to know different account executives from around the country and just getting to have discussions with all of them. And that really just helped with my background knowledge of what it means to be in this role and just different scenarios that, there's all these account executives in a room and just getting to hear how that they've handled different situations and scenarios just to really help me get a more well-rounded knowledge of what the role is and how to thrive in it just with peers.
Yeah, well, that is really very valuable. And having those relationships that you can call upon when you need it, where you have a situation. And of course, internally you have support around you to help solve problems, but it's nice to get perspective from somebody that maybe has a different point of view. So I think maintaining those relationships is a great opportunity for you as you develop your skill set and your experience. Well, as a professional marketer, What kind of trends are you seeing in the marketplace right now?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is personal marketing. I really love psychology and thinking about how different people think about things and how personalities influence decisions. And so, with AI and targeting and just all the advancements right now, it's just becoming easier and easier to really know your audience, and more important, to know your audience, just to understand how they think and why you can address certain pain points and solve problems for them. So, overall, just to be tailoring your marketing efforts to meet their needs with the goal of more meaningful connections with customers to just make them feel understood and to have a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you said that very well. I like the word that you used in there, why. Marketing, why is such a powerful word because we really do need to understand why people act the way they do, why they buy like they do, why they think. And the psychology of people is an important trait, having empathy to be able to put yourself, in our instance, not necessarily putting yourself in your customer's shoes, but in your customer's customer, to be able to understand who they are and why they're doing the things they are, so we can create advertising and marketing and public relations programs that meet our clients' needs because they communicate with their customers.
Yeah.
So, on a personal level, let's just talk about living and working as a newlywed in a small town in Missouri. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been really great. I really never planned on leaving Kansas City. I didn't necessarily plan on staying forever, but I never planned on leaving until I got engaged. But my husband and I actually never lived in the same town while we were dating and engaged. So that was one unique part of getting married. Was it was the first time we even got to see each other beyond just the weekends. So that was really great. Just getting to know the area, living in a new place. We're pretty close to where he's from. But for me, this is all kind of brand new, just a new adventure. And we're close to his family and their farm. So we get to go help out with the cattle here and there and get to see them a lot. And so it's been really full circle to be back in a small, or I say a small town. It's definitely not nearly as small as the town I grew up in, but it's really felt great to be back here and to get to be part of this community.
Lots of adjustments.
Yeah. I like change. I'm not afraid of change, so it's really been great.
Well, you fit into our culture very well because we're all about change. And change is good. If you're not changing, you're kind of staying the same and you're probably getting left behind. So that's good. So, the focus of our podcast is marketing to rural America. And so when I say the words rural America, what does that mean to you?
Family values is the first thing that comes to mind. I grew up in a very family-oriented town. We just, had such a big group they're really family, whether related or not. It felt like we were family. We care about each other and we care about our community and rely on each other. And then when I met my husband and got to know his family here, it was like the same thing, the exact kind of tight knit feeling, big group that, we're not all related, but we all just care about each other and we're people that would do anything for each other and enjoy spending time together.
Pretty good way of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So as we wrap up today, I've really enjoyed visiting with you.
Yeah, you too.
I'm glad that our audience is getting to know you a little bit, and there'll be more of that. What else would you like to share today that you think our audience might find interesting or maybe even inspiring?
We talked about this a little bit, but I just kind of want to emphasize how grateful I am to you and to Megan and the whole team here. You guys just really helped my transition be so great. You guys are such a great group. This is just such an amazing place to work. And if I didn't work here, I would definitely want to be one of your clients.
Wow, that's nice to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Well, Josie, thanks for being with us. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed our visit today with Josie Gregory, an account executive at Callis. If you've enjoyed our visit, please go out there and give us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. And then come back again next week, and I'll take you down the roads of rural America where it's heaven on earth.
Thanks for taking a ride with us on OutDrive. This episode is complete, so head on over to eCallis.com for more insight you can apply to help drive your business growth. And be sure to sign up for our free monthly e-letter, OutThink, for even more helpful content about marketing to rural America. Have a great day and keep on driving.